Hey there, and welcome to Juicy Celeb Talks. Buzz MC Mallet's latest explosive revelation has sent shockwaves through the industry, with everyone buzzing about its implications for Diddy. Imagine the juiciest gossip you've ever heard and amplify it by 10. MC Sledge is not holding back, sending a chilling warning directly to Diddy's doorstep. This isn't just another celebrity feud, it's a deep dive into a scandal that's gripping the public and racing hearts. So grab your popcorn and settle in as we unravel the story that has everyone talking. MC Hammer, known for his catchy tunes and flashy dance moves, had a past that wasn't all glitter and glam. Once considered one of the realest criminals in the music business, his notoriety adds a fascinating layer to his feud with Diddy. To understand the roots of this beef, let's rewind a bit. Before he was busting moves in parachute pants, MC Sledge came from the tough streets, where survival meant getting tough. Rumor has it that he had a gangster past, running with gangs and making a name for himself in the rough world of street crews. Despite his rise to fame, some say he never forgot where he came from. Even as he gained success, Hammer didn't shy away from calling out the dark side of the music industry. He saw how artists were being exploited and mistreated, particularly by big names like Diddy. The word on the street was that Diddy was destroying the industry by exploiting rappers for his own gain. MC Mallet, once a criminal turned rapper, wasn't going to let that slide. He was vocal about his beliefs and stood up for what he thought was right. When he saw Diddy's antics, he decided enough was enough. Hammer wasn't just talking, he made waves that sent shivers down the spines of everyone around him. Even heavyweight figures like Suge Knight and Tupac felt the heat when Sledge stepped onto the scene. Growing up in Oakland as one of 8 kids in a neighborhood likened to the streets of Beirut, Hammer's tough upbringing shaped his no-nonsense attitude. When rumors started swirling about Hammer and Diddy's feud, it didn't come as a surprise to many. Sledge had a reputation for keeping it real, and if that meant calling out industry big shots, so be it. He wouldn't let anyone trample over his fellow rappers. So why did Hammer specifically target Diddy? It's no secret that Diddy had a reputation for playing dirty. Some whispered about the shady deals and backstabbing tactics he used to climb the ladder of success. And Hammer? He wasn't going to sit by and watch it happen. MC Sledge, known for his hit songs and flamboyant dance moves, might surprise you. Many don't realize that he had a reputation as a feared gangster back in the day. People say he was even scarier than Suge Knight. But why? What's his story? Stanley Kirk Burrell, known as MC Hammer, grew up in a tough neighborhood in East Oakland, California. He had a rough childhood with many siblings and faced the usual struggles of a crime-filled area. His parents split when he was only 5 years old, leaving his mother to raise the family alone. When people asked Hammer how he avoided trouble, he always said it was because he loved his mother too much to disappoint her. This upbringing motivated him to work hard to be more than just another nobody. Despite the harsh environment, Hammer found ways to make money. He hustled tickets from Oakland's baseball players and resold them. His older brothers worked for the team, so he knew the sports scene well. Hammer also entertained people with dance shows in the parking lot, using his trusty radio. He loved dancing and entertaining, even back then. Here's where it gets interesting. One day, the team's owner, Charles Finley, noticed Hammer's talent. He gave Hammer a job as a clubhouse assistant when he was just 9 years old. Hammer worked hard and impressed everyone, eventually becoming vice president of the organization while still a teenager. He got his nickname from Reggie Jackson, an outfielder for the Oakland A's, who thought Hammer looked like another famous player, Hank Aaron, known as the Hammer. After high school, Hammer went to college, but didn't enjoy it much, so he joined the Navy. While in the military, Hammer and his roommate made music demos in their barracks. After serving for a few years, Hammer left the Navy with an honorable discharge and joined a gospel hip-hop group called the Holy Ghost Boys. After leaving the Navy, Hammer's passion for music and religion came alive again. Before becoming famous, he formed a Christian rap group called the Holy Ghost Boys with singer and musician John Gibson. They performed at various venues, including the Beverly Theater in Beverly Hills. However, the group didn't last long and disbanded after releasing a few songs. Determined to pursue his dream, Hammer decided to take control of his destiny. Here's where it gets intriguing. He asked two top Oakland players, Dwayne Murphy and Mike Davis, for a $20,000 loan to start his own record label. Surprisingly, they agreed. In 1986, MC Hammer founded Busted Records. Hammer hit the streets, recruiting rappers, DJs, and dancers. Some of the talent he found included DJ Kent's solo mixer Wilson, his hype man Kevin Big MC Wilson, and background dancers Sweet LD, Terrible T, and Lil P, who were called Oakland 357. Hammer was a tough and focused leader, pushing everyone through long rehearsals. He brought the discipline he learned in the Navy to his team, making sure they were always on point. Hammer once said, "We have to stay disciplined to reach our goals. I feel like a strict father on tour because I never want to call someone's parents with bad news." That same year, 1986, Hammer recorded his first single, Ring M, with Felton Pilot, the frontman of the recently disbanded Con Funk Shun. They recorded his first full-length album in Pilot's basement studio, and the rest, as they say, is history. In August 1986, MC Sledge's debut album, Feel My Power, was released by his own record label, Busted Records. This was a big deal for Hammer and his wife, Stephanie, who worked hard to get the album noticed. They pushed it to local DJs and sold singles out of the trunk of their car. Their hard work paid off, especially with the single Ring M, which became a hit in dance clubs around the San Francisco Bay Area. Thanks to their relentless street marketing, they managed to sell an impressive 60,000 copies of the album. Here's where it gets interesting. Major record labels started to notice Hammer's success. Soon enough, Capitol Records came knocking on his door. This was a huge opportunity for Hammer. Fab 5 Freddy from Yo! MTV Raps even featured Hammer, asking him how he started. Hammer explained that he was from Oakland, also known as Oaktown. He made demo tapes and showed them to record companies, but they liked his tapes and wanted more money to support him.
Some of Hammer's friends from the Oakland A's baseball team, Mike Davis and Dwayne Murphy, invested money in him. With their help, Hammer started his own label, and it turned out great. Capitol Records eventually signed him, and that's when things really started to take off. In 1988, Hammer signed a multi-album deal with Capitol Records for a staggering $10 million. He received an advance of $1.75 million and invested $750,000 back into Busted Records. He reissued Feel My Power with additional tracks, selling over 2 million copies. Hammer then released Let's Get It Started on September 28, 1988, featuring hit singles like Pump It Up, Turn This Mother Out, and They Put Me in the Mix. These songs all landed on the charts. Now, here's where it gets juicy. 2 years later, in 1990, Hammer released the album Please Hammer, Don't Hurt Em, which included the super hit single You Can't Touch This. The success of this album was astounding, catapulting Hammer to legendary status. Please Hammer, Don't Hurt Em sold an incredible 22 million copies. It's hard to overstate how big this made Hammer in the music world. He went from selling records out of his car to becoming a global superstar. MC Hammer was everywhere in the late 80s and early 90s. You couldn't turn on the TV without seeing him in music videos, commercials, movies, and even cartoons. Hammer was a huge star known for his catchy songs and energetic dance moves. His album Please Hammer, Don't Hurt Em was a massive hit and marked the beginning of his rise to hip-hop fame. With hits like You Can't Touch This, he became a household name. Everywhere you looked, Hammer was there. He was popular not only for his music but also for his flashy outfits and signature parachute pants. He even insured his legs for $10 million, showing how much he valued his dance moves. Hammer kept releasing albums that people loved, and it seemed like he was on top of the world. However, despite his success, Hammer faced a lot of criticism. Some people in the media and the music industry didn't think he was a real rapper. They saw him as an entertainer, not an artist. Hammer himself said he didn't just rap, he entertained. This made some hardcore hip-hop fans and artists question his authenticity. Hammer's clean-cut image and choreographed moves made him seem different from the typical gritty rappers of the time. He wore bright outfits and danced around with a big smile, which didn't fit the rough and tumble image of many other rappers. This made some people see him as soft and easy to make fun of.
When gangsta rap started to become more popular, people looked at Hammer even more skeptically. It's tough to compare Hammer to other rappers who talked about their difficult lives and experiences. Some critics felt that Hammer wasn't really keeping it real. He was a businessman, and he worked hard to stay on top. For him, rap was more about making money and entertaining the audience. This led to even more backlash from people who thought he was just in it for the fame and fortune. So, Hammer had to deal with a lot of negative opinions about his style and music. But there was another reason why people disliked him: his behavior towards others in the industry. Hammer's public conflicts with people like Third Base and LL Cool J added fuel to the fire. It seemed like he was always fighting with someone, which didn't help his image. All of this made it difficult for Hammer to be taken seriously in the hip-hop community. Despite his success and popularity, there was always this underlying sense that he wasn't really one of them. Hammer's larger-than-life persona made him an easy target. People loved to make fun of his flashy outfits, big smile, and choreographed moves. The media turned him into a cartoonish figure, which made it hard for people to see him as a serious artist. Comedians joked about his parachute pants and dancing, which just added to the perception that he was a joke. In many ways, Hammer became a victim of his own success. He was so popular and visible that people felt they had to bring him down. They saw him as a sellout, someone who was more interested in making money than making meaningful music. All of this contributed to the growing backlash against him. Hammer's success wasn't just due to luck. He was a shrewd businessman who knew how to market himself. He had endorsement deals, a clothing line, and even his own cartoon show. However, all of this also made him seem more like a corporate product than a true artist. People started to see him as someone who was just out to make a quick buck, which further damaged his reputation. Despite his best efforts to stay on top, Hammer couldn't shake the perception that he was a sellout. He had to work twice as hard to prove himself, but it never seemed to be enough. In the end, Hammer's story is one of both triumph and tragedy. He achieved incredible success, but had to deal with constant criticism and backlash. His rise and fall serve as a reminder of how fickle fame can be. Hammer's journey from the streets of Oakland to the top of the music world is nothing short of remarkable. But it's also a story of how quickly things can change in the world of entertainment. Here's where it gets even more interesting. Hammer was once a notorious figure who wasn't afraid to speak his mind. He had a reputation for calling out people in the industry and wasn't afraid to take on anyone, including Suge Knight. Hammer believed that Suge had no power over him and often said so publicly. This led to some tension between the two, but Hammer didn't back down. Sledge had a unique relationship with Suge Knight, the infamous founder of Death Row Records. Despite his fearsome reputation, Suge Knight had a soft spot for Hammer. Suge had respect for him, and there was mutual admiration between them. This didn't mean they always saw eye to eye, but they had a certain level of respect for each other. Hammer's tough persona and his willingness to stand up to industry giants like Suge made him a respected figure in the music world. He wasn't just a flashy entertainer, he was someone who commanded respect from even the most feared individuals. Now, here's where it gets even more intriguing. MC Sledge's recent accusations against Diddy are explosive. Hammer claims that Diddy's ruthless business tactics are harming the industry and exploiting artists. He believes that Diddy is more interested in making money than supporting true talent. Hammer's public warning to Diddy is a bold move that has everyone talking. He's not afraid to call out the big names and stand up for what he believes in. Hammer's warning to Diddy comes at a time when the music industry is under scrutiny for its treatment of artists. Many believe that big labels and executives prioritize profits over people, and Hammer's accusations add fuel to this fire. He's calling for change and demanding that artists be treated fairly. This isn't just about Diddy, it's about the entire industry. Hammer's bold stance resonates with many who feel that the music business needs to be reformed. His fearless approach is a reminder that there are still those willing to fight for what's right. So, what does this mean for Diddy? Hammer's public warning has put Diddy in the spotlight and forced him to address these serious accusations. Whether or not Hammer's claims are true, they've certainly caused a stir and made people question Diddy's practices. Only time will tell how this feud will unfold, but one thing is certain: MC Sledge is not backing down. He's ready to take on anyone who stands in the way of justice for artists. Stay tuned as we continue to follow this explosive story. MC Sledge's warning to Diddy has set the stage for a showdown that could change the music industry forever. This is just the beginning of a battle that promises to be as thrilling as it is important. Buckle up, because things are about to get intense.